Tasha K. I think that we are at a point in this trial now where it is safe to say that this is not going exactly how you thought it was going to go. Is it, sis? I want to have a conversation about what this case and this trial really means. And I'm not talking about how it affects Tasha K or what this is going to mean for Cardi B or anything like that. I'm talking about the bigger picture that I think we need to be considering as content creators, as fans of celebrities, and as people who entertain and feed this type of media. Can we talk for a second?
I don't do regrets. I'm trying to learn from my lessons, but do I get it yet? I wanna set an example, but I'm not sure I can handle all my demons. I'm thinking that I should court a vet. I fight for all respect. I'm working overtime to keep in my head. I understand I'll get the love when I'm dead, so my focus is red. Choose the black out on what's keeping me chosen. I've been the token, now the back is ahead. On my soapbox, jugging, showing out.
Greetings, constituents. It's another lovely day here in Georgia, Carolina. I am your local Congresswoman, Jordan Renee, and I am back with another video. We are here for another town hall meeting. If you are new to our community, thank you so much for touring our lovely home. This is a mess. This whole Tasha K, Cardi B trial is a mess. And I don't want to talk about the specifics of the trial and go deeper into the details of what's happening with the case and in the courtroom and all of that. There's enough videos out there. There's enough articles about there. There's enough audio out there for you to be able to follow the specific details of the case. I want to approach this video from another perspective because I think that there is more that needs to be discussed, and the Tasha K Cardi B video is really just a springboard for what the bigger conversation really is. I think that there needs to be a conversation about, the dark side of free speech. There needs to be a conversation about what this means for YouTube content creators and bloggers, and the overall approach to media that the internet has kind of fallen into. And I think that there's so much more that we could get out of just learning from this case. So let's wrap for a second, because I think that we can get some really impactful conversation out of this. I want to start with what this means for YouTubers, content creators, bloggers, people like this who do this type of reporting on celebrities, and how this can now affect the way that reporting and media is done. If you don't really know the details of the Tasha K Cardi B case, in short, Tasha K made a bunch of videos that said a bunch of really derogatory and, vicious rumors that were being put out about Cardi, right? And there was a lot of things that Tasha K said and mentioned, and it was just, things that anybody, if they were hearing about themselves, would not want to hear said publicly about themselves, right? So Cardi B has issued a lot of cease and desists and, all these things, trying to handle the situation out of a courtroom before this thing went to an official lawsuit. Tasha K ignored all of those warnings. She kept talking. She kept doubling down on her things. And eventually this led to an actual lawsuit. And now we are in the actual trial. Things are happening. They are in court, and there are going to be some decisions made very soon. Now, how that comes into my conversation is I want to take an analytical look at what this means now for content creators and bloggers who now have to, I feel like this is going to set a precedent, is really what I'm saying. I feel like the era of reporting without journalistic integrity, the era of reporting without facts, the era of rumors being the news, I feel like that is going to really be affected, if not being brought to a close with this case. If it doesn't change the entire way the media is done, I feel like it's definitely going to set an example and create a precedent for the way that things like this can happen, like the way that things like this can go. Because I just don't understand how we got to a place in media where the lie is more entertaining than the truth. We don't want to know the real facts. And if the rumors and the gossip is entertaining enough, we'll run with that and not even care about journalistic integrity and fact checking and getting the facts. I think that that is something that needs to come back, because if that was the case, situations like this probably would not have happened, and this would have never been reported in the first place. You know, people say that these YouTube creators and these YouTube bloggers and this, that, and the third, they're not real reporters, but this is the majority of media nowadays. This is how we're getting our news. Most of the people don't even watch the news anymore. And most of the time, the news is celebrity content. So not a lot of people are going to CNN or to major news networks to get their celebrity gossip and tea. If we're not getting it from the Hot Topic segment of a talk show, we're going to YouTube. So I feel like there is going to be an adjustment to the way that YouTube creators and bloggers approach the way that they report about people, because now this is opening up the door for any celebrity who feels that a situation where they're being reported on in a way, if it's bad enough, they can do the exact same thing. And I'm sure that this has happened before. I'm sure that this is not the first lawsuit of somebody suing a tabloid or suing a blogger or suing a news or a media outlet for reporting false information on them, right? But the problem that I have is the blatant boldness that people have when it comes to the liberty of free speech, right? You know, people can say whatever they want. This is free speech. I'll say whatever I want, blah, 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 blah. That is true. But I think that there are pitfalls and there are consequences that come with free speech. Yes, you have free speech, but at the end of the day, the things that you say can get you into trouble. Yes, you can say whatever you want, but you also have to remember that what comes with that is consequences. What comes with that is now situations where the things that you say that you have a right to say, a person also has the right to defend themselves and to take action based on what you say. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because Tasha K has a history of saying, I don't put out fake stories. What I put out is real. I have sources. What I say is facts. What I say is news. What I say is this, that, and the third. And that is part of the reason why I became such a Tasha K fan. Is because she always, when I first started coming in contact with her content, the thing that Tasha K stood on so heavily was, I have sources. My sources don't lie. I put my stuff into Clio so my lawyers can back up whatever I say. If anything ever goes to trial, it is what it is. And I don't put up stories that I don't have verifiable sources on. But then we get to the trial and you clearly say that you knew that certain stories were false. You knew that certain things you reported were false. So how do we now take anything you've said on your channel seriously? And how do you come back from that when you spent so much time talking about how you don't put out stories that are fake, you stand 10 toes down on your stories, and then on top of that, if I have this right, the reason why you did that to Cardi was because of the lawsuit or because of the legal action that she was taking against you at the time for already reporting shit that she was saying was false? Listen, I know that Tasha K and these YouTube creators and these bloggers and these vloggers and all of this stuff, I know that there's a lot of money to be made off of salacious content. But where does that sit in the conversation of like your moral character? Where does that sit in the conversation of integrity and dignity and credibility and reputation and respect? Where does things like that come into play? Because yes, the salacious content, whether it's true or not, will get you the clicks and the views, and you'll get, the AdSense and all of that stuff. But I do believe that regardless of what you're talking about, there's a way to talk about it. There's a way to do everything. If you want to talk about celebrities, talk about them. I talk about them. But I don't think that, I think the reason why I take such issue with the way that this was handled on Tasha K's perspective is because it comes off extremely malicious. It comes off very predatorial. It comes off like Napoleon complex. It comes off like, you can't tell me what to do, so I'm going to go 10 times harder to make a point. And where does that lie in the bigger picture of your longevity? Because now this is going to affect Tasha K's credibility. I'm sure that she has a built-in fan base that's going to rock with her and that are tuning in for the salacious content. So I'm sure it's not going to completely ruin her. Will this case maybe bankrupt her? I don't know. We'll figure that out once the whole verdict is going down and all of that happens, once the shit shakes up in the wash. But this is going to ruin a lot of Tasha K's credibility, because now a lot of the people who were fans of hers, because of her standing 10 toes down on the fact that the shit that she says she can take to court and don't fuck with her Clio. Her lawyers know everything that she puts up in Clio is real and this, that, and the third. And she has verifiable sources, and she doesn't report news that she can't verify. And that's why she doesn't report certain stories, because she doesn't have enough facts. Where does that go now? Where does that go now? Because while freedom of speech is something that is very real, I don't think enough people talk about the consequences and the backlash and the repercussions of what can come from you exercising freedom of speech all willy-nilly and in any type of way that isn't thought out first. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but I do think that you should still think before you speak. And I also think that there's a level of integrity and dignity that you have when you're doing this, that you need to have when you're having this type of content. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy because I was watching a live video that Tasha did on her channel not too long ago. This was maybe a couple weeks ago, where she was basically doubling down on the way that she does her content and the way that she approaches her channel, because she had had people in her personal life, like her family and friends and stuff like that, come to her. Now, I don't know the details. This is just what I got from her live and from what I took from what she was saying in her video. Basically, people in her life who had a personal connection with her were coming to her and basically saying, hey, can you not talk about me in your videos? Can you not, speak about me in your videos? Can you not talk about me? Because, it's having effects on my life. And basically, Tasha was doubling down and saying she's not going to change the way that she does her reporting, because it's my story. It's the way that I do things. It's my channel. Y'all don't pay no bills over here. Y'all didn't help build this and In the grand scheme of things, they kind of did. If you're using stories about them in cohabitation with stories about celebrities to build your channel and build this rapport with your audience about it being like this just truthful, no nonsense, raw, unfiltered presentation of your truth, then yes, they have contributed to the building of your channel in a way. One, but I say all of that to say, I left a comment on that video, and I was basically saying, while I understand that you telling your own story is important, while I understand that, is there any consideration for the fact that these people did not sign up to be public figures or to be in the public eye? You're signing up for this because you're getting in front of the camera. You're building a media empire. You have a production company. Like, this is what you signed up for. There's a way to tell your story authentically and honestly without it affecting the people in your life who still have to live. Now, mind you, if we're talking about abuse and, assault and, people who did things that are just irreprehensible and demonic and evil and need to be held to task and held accountable, that's one thing. That's one thing. Tell your story. I'm never going to try to silence or muzzle someone who is trying to tell their story in that kind of regard. But like I said, a lot of times Tasha K just comes off malicious. Tasha K just comes off malicious. If there was a bigger picture in her telling this story, or if she was just simply reporting the news, that's one thing. That's why it's a fine line when it comes to celebrities, because quote unquote, they sign up for this. They sign up to be talked about. They sign up to be in the media. They sign up to be public figures, right? So there's a certain level of this that comes with that. With all good comes bad. With all positive comes negative. So there's a level of that you can sort of expect when you sign up to be in the public eye. You can't please everybody. Not everybody's going to like you. But I was saying to Tasha in my comment, I was like, these people aren't famous. They didn't sign up to be in the public eye. Now, if they are just trying to muzzle you telling your story of how they have hurt you in some way or how they have caused harm to you, that's one thing. But if you're just trying to tell funny stories and just say something for clicks and views and just tell a funny story that just happens to be about your life, and it ends up affecting people who are just trying to work and live their daily life in the world, it's a little bit rough to justify that, right? And putting that into place with talking about celebrities, it's like, where's the line? Where's the line of reporting celebrity news, reporting the gossip and the rumors, and then stating rumors as fact and maliciously trying to create a narrative about a celebrity or trying to paint a picture about a celebrity? Where does that overall conversation go? Where does that line draw itself at? Because there has to be some sort of balance, right? We have to be able to report the gossip and the news without maliciously trying to create a narrative. And yet, if we're going to try to report something as a fact, there should be enough journalistic integrity to fact check and vet your sources and all of that stuff. There has to be some sort of separation in reporting the news and speaking on gossip. And I think that this is where this backfired in Tasha K's face. Because, nobody can discredit her from talking about the rumors that are on the street. She didn't create the rumors. She didn't talk about the rumors. She didn't talk about the news that's out there. It's out there. If she wants to create a platform to where people want to hear her talk about it, that's fine. But I got turned off from a lot of Tasha K's content along the way because she started reporting things as fact. And then after building me up as a receiver of her content, I came to her channel basically thinking that she had all these undeniable sources that were coming straight to her and telling her this stuff and this was real facts. And then to hear her go back and then later say, I knew the stories that I was putting up wasn't true. Mind you, I saw that video way before this trial came up. There was a video or something that I saw on YouTube a long time ago before this trial got started, where Tasha was basically saying, like, she knew that the story that she put up about Cardi B wasn't true and all of this, and she did it just to prove a point, and that she can still make a story go up regardless of whether it's true or not, and she basically did it to be spiteful. I think that's where this needs to separate itself, because we don't need to have this much of a personal investment into the people that we talk about to where it will go this far, to where you will intentionally put up fake stories and put up malicious content about people just to create a false narrative or a false impression of somebody. Like, I think that if a bad person is a bad person, the facts of them being a bad person will say everything that we need to say without having to create things on top of it and having to perpetuate stuff that just sounds good that we know isn't true. I'm not even creating this video in defense of Cardi B or in defense of celebrities or as a bashing to Tasha K. I'm trying to find the middle ground of how do we get celebrities to accept that with a certain amount of visibility, there is going to be negative attention that comes along with positive accolades, and how do we balance that with reporting gossip and news and stating and reporting something as fact without credibility. I'm trying to level the playing field for everybody on this, because just as much as I don't want YouTubers and bloggers and media personalities like us, and I'm not even going to say us because I don't do half of the reporting that these real media reporters do. Like, I don't, follow stories and do do stories about celebrities and I talk about the shit that I want to talk about. And if a celebrity happens to be involved in that story, fine. But I don't go out of my way to talk about celebrities, in that type of context. But there has to be some sort of middle ground, because as much as I don't want celebrities to be just suing content creators all willy-nilly just because they said something that they don't like because of the precedent set by this Cardi B case, I also don't want these types of media outlets like YouTubers, like bloggers, like all of these people to, one, lose any more credibility than they already have, and then two, cheapen the art form, because I do think that blogging and being a media personality without being a specific news source is a bit of an art form, to where you can talk about celebrities in pop culture in a way that you are not, being a heavy news correspondent or going out there and getting it for yourself and creating your own platform. I will never discredit anybody for that. So the fact that Tasha K and all of these people out there get out there and they create their own platforms and they build their own news sources and they turn their platform into places that people really go to for the news, I will never discredit the hustle, the ambition, and the creativity and smarts that it takes for that. But you have to maintain some integrity. There has to be some integrity that goes along with this, because I don't understand how we're supposed to take you seriously after that. If we just want to come and hear some rumors and gossip and all of this shit, fine. But if somebody is reporting rumors and gossip that they know is rumors and gossip and know that it's not true, and you're sitting up here reporting it as a fact, how do we believe anything you say, even if it is gossip and rumors? Like, I feel like there's a way to talk about gossip and rumors and acknowledging that it's gossip and rumors. There's a way to talk about the salaciousness or the juiciness of content without reporting it as a fact. I hope that I'm really conveying the bigger picture here, because I feel like this is so much bigger than just Tasha K and Cardi B. I feel like there's an entire industry that is now going to be affected by the way that this case is handled and the way that these two people chose to go about rectifying this situation. Do you get what I'm saying? I say all of that to say that this is why I took a different approach to my YouTube channel. This is why I went from Porn with Jordan to Justifiably Jordan to now Georgia Carolina, because I wanted to be able to find a balance for myself in being able to talk about, celebrities or talking about reality stars and things like that in a way that I can talk about them with a level of entertainment and salaciousness and like having the conversation without being a bully or without being so invested in it that now I develop a personal antagonization towards that person, or like I have personal feelings about these celebrities and this, that, and the third. I think that the way that I want to approach my YouTube channel is, I may not like the shit that you're doing. I may not like the shit that you did, but I am not going to come on here and hate you as a person and say, oh, you're just the worst person on the earth and you're a piece of shit and that's why you ugly and that's why this, that, and the third. Like, if I'm going to have a certain amount of contention for somebody that I'm talking about, I want to keep it specifically to the specific subject at hand and not make it personal. Prime example, my Nicole Scherzinger video that I just did the other day. This Nicole Scherzinger video where I have very personal feelings about that situation because I am a mega fan of the Pussycat Dolls. I'm a mega fan of Nicole Scherzinger. I'm a mega fan of the Pussycat Dolls. I'm a mega fan of music. I'm a mega fan of girl groups. I'm a mega fan of art and entertainment and burlesque. And so the Pussycat Dolls really have a special place in my heart. So when I made that video, I made sure to say that it was a rant for a reason, because I had a lot of personal and have a lot of personal feelings about that situation. But I really tried, even in the midst of my hysteria, to not come on camera and attack Nicole as a person, or attack this whole situation as a person. Not to attack Ron Fair, not to attack Robin Anton, not to attack Nicole, not to attack anybody involved as a person. I may not like your actions, but I do not have the authority or the experience with you to make a judgment call on you as a person or the way that you live your actual life behind closed doors. So in saying all of that, I just want to wrap up by saying, like, how do you guys feel that this case and this situation is going to affect YouTubers and content creators and bloggers going into the future from here? Do you think that it's going to create a level of precedent that bloggers and YouTube creators are now going to be scared to speak about certain things? Or do you think that this is not going to have any effect at all? Do you think that celebrities are now going to come out of the woodwork and start suing YouTubers and bloggers left and right if Cardi B wins this case? How do you feel? Did I do a good job of articulating the bigger picture when it comes to this situation? Because I know that the details of the Tasha K case is very juicy and salacious and all of that, but I didn't want to make this video just about what's going on between Tasha K and Cardi B, because I think that there's so much more that can be discussed on that. I think that there's so much more that can be talked about and so much more that I had on my mind when it came to this case. When I started really thinking about Tasha K and this Cardi B case, I really wasn't even thinking about the details of the case personally. I was more so thinking about Tasha and Cardi and how this is going to affect their children and how this is going to affect their families and how this is going to affect both of their brands and all of this stuff. Like, I just had a bigger focus and like how this is going to affect the industries that they're in as a whole. I just thought bigger than that. And so I wanted to come and try to convey that to you guys without making it about the specific situation at hand, because I think that there's enough content and there's enough being reported about the specific details of the case. And I wanted to just try to take another approach to the situation. So you guys, let me know what you think. If you like the video, share, subscribe. I appreciate you guys coming back for another town hall meeting. If you're touring our lovely community today, I hope that you enjoyed yourself, and I hope you take up some real estate and come back. If you like the video, share, subscribe. I think I already said that. And I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. And I'll holler at you guys later. Peace. Think before you speak, too. Damn it.